being in touch with the customer, understanding the pain points, and then refining it back into the product is a fundamental process in startups.
Hello and welcome to One of Stories podcast, highlighting global A-star spinoffs. I'm your host Daryl, and with me I'm my co-host Anthony on the other end of the sofa. And today we have a very special guest with a very memorable name, Mr. Daryl Lim. Welcome.
Hey everyone.
Yeah. Wow, Mr. Daryl, what a strange.
Daryl meets Daryl.
Okay, good. Let's go.
Feels like fate that we met my last week of internship. But it's nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
It feels a bit weird to call him Mr. Daryl, but I'll call you Mr. Lim.
Yeah.
Will it be okay with you?
Sounds
Okay,
good.
Sure. But Mr. Lim is here as the co-founder of Augmentus, one of top 50 startups that pitched at SLINGSHOT 2022. Right? Is
Right.
not wrong? SLINGSHOT 2022.
Yeah.
That was around 3 years ago.
That's right. Yeah.
I think during 2022 was it a recovering phase of like COVID?
Yeah, it was, but it's quite well, recovered already because I think COVID started to die down end of 2021, early 2022. So by then things were pretty much normal. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So there wasn't like mask or anything, no like social distancing.
I don't remember there being a mask. Yeah. Especially at the actual event itself. But it was a great event, really good.
Right, it was really good. We will get back to that. We'll definitely talk more about that because we really want to highlight that. So with SLINGSHOT 2025 coming up, we want to use this platform to really sit down and catch up with our own A-star spin-offs that has participated in like the past SLINGSHOTs, which you are definitely one of them. So I don't want to get too much into like the technical jargons, but I think I want to set a strong foundation. We start off by talking about what Augmentus is.
Yeah.
Right, because top 50 in SLINGSHOT is a pretty big deal. Right. So I know Augmentus offers first no-code and fully integrated AI or robot programming platform
Yep.
that enables non-technical users to program industrial robots in minutes instead of months. So when I read this, I was like, oh, so people like me, so people that never learned how to code before.
Then you got it right. It's meant for people like you, right? Operators that haven't learned robotics at all, but they know a bit of engineering. Give them the ability, the power to use robots in their manufacturing environment.
That sounds really interesting. Yeah. And were you there to listen to?
Yes, I was there. So I'm going to ask this back to Daryl. Mr. Lim, why is this part about empowering the workforce, a bit of skill set, engineers, but never programming important?
Yeah.
And you guys to say that you're going to bet all in and then grow this company.
Yeah, I think prior to starting Augmentus, something that we have seen, right, is you have process experts, people that know welding, painting, sanding, polishing. They've done this all their lives. And you have the robotic experts that know how to program robots. But these two worlds seldom intertwine. I haven't met anyone actually that really knows both skill sets very, very well.
One is a craft, one is more technical.
Exactly. One is more like a tribal knowledge, tribal knowledge, you know how to weld, you know how to sand to get the perfect output. And one is robotics and how to code, right? It's two different worlds. So oftentimes manufacturers, they buy a robot, they do not know how to program it because they think that, the integrators of the world didn't really tell them, right, how it's done. So when they deploy, it becomes a bit like a white elephant, or they can't really scale the robot automation into their manufacturing environment. And it's because of this skill gap, right? So what if we can take the process expert to also be able to use robots and become a bit like a robotic expert with no code, with AI robotic solutions? And that is why we started Augmentus.
It's no-brainer why you guys are called Augmentus and Augment. But this thing you talk about, craftsmen, welding, spraying. How many welders are there left in the world? Is this a dying breed? Is that another thing we're concerned about, aging workforce and everything?
Yeah, you got it right. So it's another big issue, right? So you have the robotic experts that's so rare, and you have the dying workforce of the process experts, the craftsmen. So right now, I think in the US alone, you have about 2 million shortages of manufacturing workers. So think of welders, painters, sanders. It's a huge, huge market.
2 million.
2
Just
million.
in US.
Just in US alone, yeah.
These are individuals as needed in order to finish all the jobs.
Yeah.
So does it equals to you're able to sell 2 million robots, or what is the ratio to that?
From-
It's maths question. Yes.
So I think the way we do our calculations is that, so for us it's about, focusing on specific applications. So like welding, sanding, polishing. So within that segment, there's roughly around 300,000 potential that's relevant for us at Augmentus. So what this means is that the market for us in terms of, time sum, right? The sum would be around 300,000 robots. Yeah.
And there is only one market.
There's only one market, a segment of the industrial robotic space or the labor shortage space as well.
You mentioned sending as well.
Yeah.
So sending is another part that a lot of toxin, air pollutants will be released. So this will also have implication on human health as well. Replacement of
Exactly.
robots.
And there's this thing called sender's elbow as well. So
What's
if,
it?
if you speak to like manufacturers, that have done sending or like workers that have done sending all their lives, sometimes they can't even hold up their kit because the act of sending causes a lot of damage to their elbows. So it's a term called sender's elbow, where it causes a lot of long-term damage to their hip, to their joints, and all these things.
This is different from tennis elbow.
Different. But might be similar. I mean, we see like, oh, this is unskilled labor, but actually it's pretty skilled, and it's a very, we call it dangerous environment, right? You talk about pollutants and all these things as well. It all comes into play.
Like a hazard.
Exactly.
Doing it
yeah.
for a long term period of time.
It's non-trivial. And sometimes we look at them, we're like, oh, this is easy, but they're actually having a tough time, and that's why there's a huge shortage as well, because no one wants to do these things, right? So that's where automation comes in.
No one wants to do. There is two sides of the world that needs to come together.
Yeah.
And you guys are trying to augment that.
Exactly. Yeah, we augment operators to become robotic programmers through no-code AI robotics. Yeah.
Top 50. That's how you sell it. That's really how you sell it. Instant, the one-liner, really gets it. I think talking about sending and welding, it really touch all the bases, right? In the industry, right? Not just like talking about one. Maybe like aerospace industry had their senders and welders, but then other industries like let's say I have here automotive also have senders and welders on its own. So it's like, do you count it as two different customer segments or like full encompass everybody?
No, I think that's an amazing question. The way we look at the market is more towards application specific rather than industry specific.
Okay.
Because the reality is that for us as a product, we are focused towards, like, let's say we talk about sending, right? And sending can be applied towards numerous industries, be it job shops, be it aerospace, be it marine side. Process requirements are a bit different, but the features needed is largely the same.
Okay.
And that's why we're focused on applications rather than industries. Of course, from a sales side, we will then know which industries these applications, and then we do the GTM analysis from there. But applications first, and we are very, very deep into application first software development rather than a general approach, right? So we get very good at spraying, then we move on to sanding and then welding. Not we do all the robotic applications at one shot, which some companies do that approach, but that's not our philosophy at Augmentus.
You mentioned that the US itself, there's a certain shortage. So other than US, where else has your product been deployed, or it's just a paper exercise? Where have you guys sold to?
Right now, I have about over 50 systems that we've sold worldwide with about 5 countries. So Germany, Australia, US, Singapore, and also we have one in Czech Republic as well. But we are growing significantly, but we see most of the growth coming from the US and also within Asia. So we have some very strong partnerships coming up within Korea and Australia as well. So we're seeing a lot of growth across the board. And by being a software first approach, this allows us to deploy our system without needing to, send a large army of engineers worldwide. So it's a very low cost deployment approach, which is something that I'm a strong believer in as well.
This is totally not scripted. One thing that is coming to me is that these countries that you mentioned got high labor costs,
Yep.
strong union back,
Yes.
and they
Yeah.
are concerned about the welfare of the workers and everything else.
As you rightfully should. Right.
Awesome. Okay, go back to clock now. 2022 to now, what happened?
Good question. I was gonna ask that.
I read your mind, man.
I mean, we have commercialized, right? So back in 2022, we're still more in R&D mode. We have some pilots with some players in Singapore, but since then we have commercialized in mid to late 2023, and we have some big customers like ST Engineering, Applied Materials, Caterpillar, and so on as well. They use us, but the key thing is the commercialization of our early applications. So we talk about surface treatment like spraying, thermal spray, blasting, pinning. Then we moved on towards more welding applications in 2024. We are still deploying quite a lot of these applications as well. But the key verticals that we focus on is surface treatment, like spraying, surface finishing, like sanding and material removal, and welding, right? And of course,
Right, the spraying and welding is big surface, the welding is a bit more precision. So now you can actually handle precision
Yeah.
aspect.
we call it like ages or challenging
Okay,
ages.
ages, yes, ages.
So there's a different AI and algorithm that comes in to really, really detect and ensure high accuracy in those ages, because the tolerance you're looking at, right, it's like 0.5 mm.
Yeah, man.
That's like, sometimes can be the width of the human hair sometimes, which
You're
is,
talking about aerospace, so the details have to be looked into.
yeah, it's very important to really get into the accuracy. And of course, another one is, as you all know, we closed our recent funding round as well, Series A plus. So I think it's kind of testament to the work that we're doing in the space globally as well.
That one I'm going to tease you on it. When I first knew Shin and the guys are our co-founder and you, you all took the startup founder grant. I think it's $20,000 or $30,000.
30,000, I think, yeah.
Wow, you remember us?
I remember every money that comes, every customer, every money that comes to the bank, I know.
Then the most interesting thing I remember was, I think it's 2020, when you all are trying to raise your first
Yeah,
round,
that's right, yeah.
that Cocoon put money on the table. There was still some other VCs with term sheet on the table.
That's right.
And you all deliberated. I kind of remember the valuation then is about 2 mil. To the current is at least 20 times more.
Yeah.
20 plus times more.
Yeah.
This journey of 20 times plus more. What caused this explosion? Is it because of the number of surfaces that you guys can do right now? Features? Customers?
Yeah. So I think in our industry, when it comes to, we call it hard tech or deep tech, right? Getting customers is difficult, right? In manufacturing, if your product doesn't work, you cause the customer's revenue to drop, right? Because this is their livelihood. We call it mission critical processes. And so that's why the sales cycle and selling in this industry is gruesome, it's brutal. You speak to anybody selling in this space, they will see the same thing as well. So for us, in the early days, we actually managed to secure some big logos, right? And I think that is strong proof points to raise rounds.
What are some of these big logos and strong logos?
So we can talk about ST engineering, we can talk about Pratt & Whitney, we can talk about Applied Materials, for example, right? So those are very good proof points in the early days of Augmentus to show that, okay, there's strong demand here. But then again, that is not enough to say product market fit. Product market fit comes in when the recurring revenue comes in and we're expanding. So we land and we expand. So we have shown some really strong proof points last year and this year as well. So we have had customers from 1 system to 3 systems in 6 months, and then to now 10 systems in 1.5 years, right? So that kind of significant growth shows a very strong sign and signal of product market fit. And I think that's also the revenue growth as well, and all these things come into play to really allow us to grow the company to where it's at today. So I think it's all these multiple different factors, but it all comes together around product market fit. And achieving product market fit in deep tech and hard tech, I think it's pretty rare. It's tough, it's rare, and I think that's why we're seeing a very strong growth in valuation as well.
Yeah. There's 2 parts to this question on product market fit that I would like to ask a bit more. One is, as you're able to get a first customer, you need to grow your sales even more. Definitely there's a need for sales channel, sales manager, and how you conduct yourself.
Yep.
That's the first question. An earlier question to that is that I remember you guys took part in ARTC Startup Challenge. I remember you guys won. You talked to the customer or the consortium members that they have.
Yeah.
Although that did not evolve into a full-blown purchase, but then you guys were able to fine-tune that. I remember your co-founder telling me that revenue go up by 5 times just because they're able to validate the need a bit more accurately.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about 1 and 2?
Yeah, that's right. So I think because the first one is about sales, right? The process. Prior to this year, so like last year onwards or last year and before, it's very founder-led sales, right? So I think I think that's important because the founders really, like myself, because I'm the only one doing sales, being in touch with the customer, understanding the pain points, and then refining it back into the product is a fundamental process in startups, especially in deeper tech companies like what we're talking about here, where any feature that's developed sometimes will take 4 to 6 months to even come to fruition. So if you get it wrong, you only realize it sometimes 4 to 6 months later. So you really need to ensure that the commercial, we call it the GTM product alignment, needs to be very, very, very strong. But this year onwards, I've really built up my sales team. So right now we have about, still a lean team, we have about 3 people in my sales team globally, and they are pushing revenue growth significantly. So I think we hire very, very quality salespeople that can really deliver on this very difficult industry to sell. Secondly is with regards to your question on features, right? I guess I answered it just now as well. Being the GTM product alignment, especially with the Startup Challenge, I think really helped us a lot because when we present our solution to all these members, they give us tons of feedback, and that allowed us to really streamline our development and execution as well. Yeah, so we know what we need to build in order to deliver in these market segments. And the good thing about A-Star is that, all their members, tier 1 to tier 3, they're all pretty big companies. So so it's amazing that kind of feedback is quite hard to get as well.
That is the ARTC side of the house.
ARTC, yeah.
Yeah. So in your own opinion, at what amount of sales revenue we should start thinking, hey, beyond founder selling, I need to grow my team?
Yeah.
And how do you empower the team and you let go and incentivize them?
Yeah, I would say this. I think the general rule of thumb has always been about 1 to 1.5 mil. I think that's a good range.
Okay, sure.
About 1 mil would be a good range to really start looking beyond yourself. But before that, I think it's too early to get hands off. I think if you hands off too early, you're going to get screwed.
The founder need to engage the customer to hear firsthand what is
Yeah.
needed, fine tune.
I think the worst thing happens is that the founder can't sell, right?
Ouch.
I think that is tough. That is very tough. Because sometimes in deep tech, you're all technical, right? I just love to build.
Wait, what is your background? You're not a business grad.
I'm computer science and economics. So,
Okay.
But I used to have a side hustle businesses that does.
Yeah, you know that. What's a side hustle about, man?
This is back in poly and college. So I started like a distribution center for those encryption solutions for like NAS, like network attached storage, Seagate, all these things. So I work very closely with like Seagate, Western Digital to really sell these kind of encryption solutions. So I did a lot of sales in the past, but I do have a bit of a technical background. But I
One
would
is the
say
sales of hard knocks that you go into,
Yeah,
not like
sales
you
of
went
hard
through.
knocks. But I would say I'm more business than technical, at least at this stage right now. Yeah.
That's what Shane always say. He's the sales guy. He's the business guy. Awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry, gonna add on a bit more to the sales management part.
Yep.
At 1 mil plus, you should grow your sales force. I think if it's just a Singapore team, a local team, it's easy to handle. You guys set up all the way in US.
Yep.
Is it Texas or is it Dallas?
Austin, Texas.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Okay. How do you manage the sales force so far away, incentivize them, and all the thing?
I think the truth is that I myself had to be, on the ground, boots on the ground. So I was in Austin since from April or May last year, all the way until even now. Now I'm also like partially based there as well. But I was literally there from April all the way until November, non-stop, right? Really getting to know the market, meeting my team and making sure that they are managed well. It's difficult, right? I think the culture clashes are massive. Even though Singapore is quite Western already compared to other parts of Southeast Asia, the culture clashes are quite massive. So it's quite important to, be open-minded and just let them know that we are there for them as well. They're not on their own, in the wilderness, right? It's one big company, one big team on a joint mission to revolutionize manufacturing.
I'm about to say change the world, but okay.
Manufacturing first.
One step at a time, yes.
Yeah, always starts with manufacturing. Nothing
Yeah,
easier with that.
that's true. Yeah.
But I think I wanna bring us back onto the path. I want to go back to talking about SLINGSHOT, right?
Yeah.
Because I know we talk a lot about how sales managing and like the team and how the tipping point and how you grew your company from there on.
Yeah.
So going back to SLINGSHOT, right? Can you just give me 3 words to describe your experience?
So I've been in a lot of this kind of startup competitions in the past. I would say SLINGSHOT stands out quite a bit. So the 3 words would be grand,
Wow.
innovative. I think there's a lot of really innovative companies there in different, of course, deep tech, but different sectors as well. And the last one is just vibrant, right? I think being international, there's just so many different perspectives that I got. I still keep in contact with some of the people from my prior SLINGSHOT days as well.
Well, that's good. So not only like giving the top 50 status of being SLINGSHOT, but in that space, in that whole entire environment, there were a lot of connections made that might have benefited Augmentus in a way, and you're still in connection with them.
For sure. Yeah, and SLINGSHOT, I think there's a lot of VCs as well. We didn't close with many Singapore VCs, but I got in touch with a lot of them, and I think being connected to the ecosystem is very important for any startup founder as well. Yeah.
Talking about like non-local VCs, right? Going to the startup, you have to think global from day one.
Yes, right. Yeah.
Right, think global from day one. So we know that Augmentus is in different industries, different applications, right? Going to that philosophy, you thought about going global since day one. Were you in that state of mind, in that mentality?
I mean, the right answer is yes, but the reality was it was not the case. So when we first started Augmentus, I think we were very focused towards specific industries in Singapore. I mean, Singapore's a small country, but surprisingly, there's a lot of manufacturing here. Right? I think it's a significant part of our GDP actually, if you look at the math, which surprises a lot of people. And we actually started the company very focused on aerospace. because we used to be in ALTC. In ALTC, there's a lot of
Boeing, Rolls
aerospace.
Royce, and everyone is there.
Yeah, there's another name for ALTC, but we won't get into it. But very aerospace centric. So I think that's how we started the company and focusing on the MRO, maintenance, repair, overhaul sector in Singapore, which is a very
It's a huge one in Singapore.
massive sector. I think the Singapore government did an amazing job in
The
really.
aviation hub, right? So everyone fly in, they have to do a repair. So it's that.
It's very smart approach, and that's why we focus on that MRO. But the truth also is that MRO is a tough. I mean, aerospace, right? It's super tough to crack. Actually, even today, I would say we're still having challenges in cracking that market. We're having very strong signs, but it takes a lot of time. The sales cycle is long, so we actually force ourselves to get global, not because of intention, but because of survivability. If we didn't think of global in year 2, we won't be here today.
Wait, year 2 is what? Going back to
2021,
2021.
2022.
That's after your first round, right?
After first round, I think first round we focus on R&D, but we still speak to a lot of customers. But it's only after year 2 that we've had to go global. If not, it's very tough to sell in Singapore.
Totally understand that.
Then when you go global, then some of the local customers are like, damn, these guys, they're selling global. Okay, I want to work with you guys. Sometimes it's like that as well. There's a bit of credibility factor.
Going back and forth, like local first, global, then gaining traction, gaining that credibility, then coming back.
That is the same old name as Creative.
Creative, yeah,
I started in
exactly.
the US, I come back.
Yeah.
Sound Blaster, yes. I think about it.
I mean, it's a hard truth, right? A lot of companies and manufacturers, they do not want to be the first one buying the product. So sometimes maybe you look beyond and see whether there are more risk-taking companies out there that are willing to be the first mover. And there are. You just got to find those people.
I think beyond risk is also about, do they have a compelling reason? Like some of these markets, they talk about high labor costs, high union rights, and let's go. Not that Singapore is low union rights.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm a strong believer in selling before you build. So actually my first contracts, all of them were before we even have a stable product.
You have super confidence because you got a strong tech co-founders behind you.
Yeah. So 3 co-founders, 2 of them are just on the tech side.
Who are these 2 wonderful people? Tell the world.
Yongshin and Wunfu, they both came from ALTC. So ALTC comes up with good talent.
Wait, you are not you're the NUS dude, right?
I'm the NUS dude. Yeah.
And when you were in the NUS, when the Augmentus was started, you even won Tech Blazer from IMDA.
That's right. We got the gold
Still a
award.
student.
Yeah. Still a student. Yeah. It was good times. I miss those times.
Hey, student, go and win something.
A bit less stressful. But good times.
Gain more experience. And then what pushed you to sign up for Slingshot? Was it to gain more credibility?
Yeah, definitely. And I believe we had like the green lane from the A-Star Startup Challenge as
That
well.
is due to the ARTC connection with the Slingshot.
But I think funding is one because there's a lot. I mean, the prize money is decent. It's good. I mean, it's massive. It's not decent. I'm sorry. It's massive. And secondly is credibility as well. I think in the world of startups, especially in our industry, 90% is all about credibility. So you really need to get a good name out there. I think all this helps.
Why would this manufacturer choose you instead of other people?
Yeah, right. It's mission critical. It's not like they will test and if it works, good. If it doesn't work, it doesn't, right? Because like sometimes like a SaaS solution, you can buy $30 a month. It doesn't work. Next month you cancel. This is not. This is like 5-figure, 6-figure deals.
You know, Daryl, both Daryl, the world we are in for deep tech. Sorry, 2 Daryls. This thing about technology, it keep evolving. The pencil used to be the most powerful writing tool.
It's serious.
Now it's a pixel. Okay, okay, we go back to this. We're using not the iPad.
That's true. Pigeons.
You have simplified robotics for people. Now with humanoids and even more embodied AI and everything coming in. What's next to keep yourself in the game?
Yeah. So I think there is a massive trend right now towards, we call it physical intelligence or physical AI, right? Making intelligence work in the physical environment that we're in. And Augmentus is definitely part of that story and the ecosystem as well. But for us, what we see in the macrocosm, right, of all these efforts being done, a lot of them are more general. And I think the way Augmentus wins is very simple. We be the easiest to use, not closed box, right? Easiest to use solution that is adaptive for surface finishing and welding, right? So focusing on application vertical, easy to use, using AI, using anything, right? I think AI is, at the end of the day, it's a means to an end, right?
Yep.
So ease of use and adaptiveness. So meaning that you don't have a large team needed to deploy a solution, being a bit more asset light and deploy the solution a bit more scalably. is the way we will win in the market. And going vertical deep in terms of the application to become more adaptive, this is the way to be. So I think that is the approach that we take. And AI for us is a means to an end. I think that philosophy will bring us through to the next generation as well.
How far is the horizon where you see that coming in to be a real life thing that we'll see in front of us? Maybe the Skyfall window in front of me is cleaned by robots.
There's some startups doing that though, so it's pretty good.
But yes.
Yeah, I would say for general purpose, we are still a while away. I think there has been no successful proof points yet. Yes, there's some videos online, but it's all very in laboratory environments. The real world is so much permutation, right? I would say it's probably going to come in the next 3 to 5 years. We are very, very close. But I always say this, right? From 0 to 80%, so MVP level, sometimes can take you 1 year. But from 80% to 100% to get a stable product, sometimes can take you 3 to 4 years. Depends on how you plan things out. For us, sometimes MVP can take us 1 month, right? But to get to a stable product, sometimes it takes 3 to 6 months. So I think we are seeing a lot of these very good MVPs and POCs, but to get it to a stable commercial industrial product, we're probably another 2 to 3 years away minimum.
That is because of cost in terms of the hardware cost, or is it the technical proficiency of people to make that, or is it just technology in general will eventually catch up to what we're trying to do?
I think it's a tech. I think the tech is not there yet. Unfortunately, I think we're seeing a lot of things with generative AI and all these things, but the reality is that for physical environments, it's not easy. There's so much permutation, so much variables. So we definitely want to take things a bit more cautious, not over optimism, and understand what is the state of technology right now, and making sure that we deliver on real wins rather than magical solutions, which is something that people tend to use with AI. Yeah.
But the trend has always been around for the last 100 years, from railway to broadband to what you guys are doing. There's always massive anticipation. Some will crash, some will burn.
Yeah.
Some will rise from the ashes and redo.
Yeah.
So in all these cycles and the uncertainty in the world, technical trends, what advice will you give to the next generation of deep tech founders?
Mm-hmm.
Especially those that had side hustle before and has done it and now want to venture into it.
Yeah.
Speak from your heart, man, please.
Okay, so for deep tech especially, it's very tough. I think it's a very tough sector. Firstly is understand that the gestation period is going to be long. You probably wouldn't be making any decent revenue for the first 2.5, 3 years, right? But then again, if you don't make revenue, then how do you make sure that you can put out market fit, PMF? So that's why I mentioned earlier. Sell first before you build fully, right? You can build while you sell, but really make sure that you get strong commercial feedback. Because if not, you're going to be building something that no one wants.
Okay.
And that's critical, right? So I always really believe one guy in your team needs to sell. Even if he's semi-building, but someone needs to be very commercially minded. So being agile and adaptive is super important. And I would say this is why deep tech is tough. Because an agile methodology oftentimes doesn't really work for deep tech. Because you need like 6 months, 1 year to build a feature. How do you be agile with that? That's tough. I mean, in SaaS, you can build something in like 1 month or 2 months.
But train in the good old waterfall method.
Yeah.
And all those in your comp science. But this thing about sell first and you build. I know you got a strong technical team, so I'm not going to question that.
Yeah.
But in a typical scenario, this is me coming from a different era where there are salespeople who oversell.
Yeah.
Then the ops team and the development team like, oh my gosh, what have you done? You overpromise. Then liability disclaimer and all this will come in. How do you actually balance that?
I think
Overselling and actually selling.
No, it's a good question. I think just to clarify, I think when I say sell, I don't mean literally sign a contract. I mean someone needs to be the one speaking to customers. Really saying, I have this solution. What about? Maybe I should use the right words. But what I mean is, I have this solution. What are your thoughts on this? Is this something that you're interested to explore further? And then LOIs, MOUs, all this, right? But being transparent to the customer, right? We're not there yet. We have this roadmap in mind. What are your thoughts? Right.
Well, this is awesome suggestion for everyone.
Yeah.
Very often I see colleagues who are researchers become entrepreneurs like, all right, should we overpromise? I tell them, no, it's not the overpromise, but really the one you just said. Profile, verify before you keep pushing.
Yeah.
And develop. Don't overdevelop, overspecs as well.
Yeah.
So that is the balance.
I mean, in my space in robotics, we've seen so many companies go bust because they build this amazing solution in the lab, but in the real world environment where things are different, where there's variation between parts, it doesn't work. And also sometimes it's not really about the functionality, it's also about the workflow. They build this solution for the operator, but then the operator comes in and say, this workflow doesn't make sense for me. I would never do this. And this mismatch between reality and the lab is actually a very big thing in deep tech companies. And how do you bridge that gap? It has to be through customer conversations. You can call it selling or not, but really having someone that is commercially minded.
And this conversation is not only at the management or the media management, to go down to the actual operator.
Exactly.
The user acceptance test in the good old days we call it, must go down to the actual person who click.
Exactly. Because actually this is a very good point. Because oftentimes when you sell to management. But management are not the users. So are you building product for management or building them for the user? Night and day difference, right? Management, I think, is more about pricing and about making sure that they're solving their pain point. But the user is really the one using it, and they are the ones driving conversion and CAC and all these LTV, all these things as well.
So I spent some time with the Singapore Union before, and when we are doing certain projects, we have the big tech giants coming to us and say that, can the workers actually try it? If they can actually do it, they can actually use it, then it makes sense. Really need to be down to the ground level. You want full user acceptance test to be signed off.
Yeah, and we are seeing this in robotics as well. I think a lot of times people pass FAT, so factory acceptance test,
Okay.
but they don't pass site acceptance test. So
What is the difference?
So factory is like inside their factory where they build the robotic solution. It's all good, but when they deploy the solution on the site, the customer say no, it doesn't work for me. So it's quite a big scenario because imagine as a startup, you invest all this equipment into the FAT or like the product, and you're like, oh hey, it's working for me. It's working for in this scenario. But then when you ship the entire product or the entire equipment into the customer side, the customer say, hey, this is not what I ordered, right? This is not what I expected. And you kind of burn the capex cost on the BOM, right?
You can't just go back again.
You can't just go back
Time and
again.
money, just.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough. I think we're seeing quite a lot of that in robotics.
Funny thought is running through my mind. If you have a haircut, it doesn't really suit you. You can't turn back anymore.
Can I say something about my haircut?
Yes, it's about your haircut. That's why I'm looking at you, giving you the silly green. Yes,
I see.
Yeah, it's good.
and it's more important than user acceptance is to ask your mom or someone close to you and say, hey, this one can. Anyway, yes, please, Daryl, back to
But
you.
I think it's a good session. I'd like to just wrap it up because
Sounds good.
I think we had a really good discussion. Really in depth. I really learned a lot about the robotics side of things and like the selling and everything. I think aspiring entrepreneurs can really learn from all these kind of lessons, and it's good to hear it firsthand.
Yep.
From your experience on the ground works, how you've so you've been there in person and doing it, right? And as a founder itself, I think it's good to be in place and have actually done it so that you can speak to the customers.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Yeah.
I really want to thank you for your time today, Mr. Daryl Lim.
Thanks, Daryl.
It sounds really good. Really rude of my
Thanks,
tongue.
Daryl.
I
Thanks,
feel so
Anthony.
left out.
Thank you for visiting us and spending the afternoon with us.
Appreciate it.
So now, listeners of One Off Stories podcast, if you haven't already, please be sure to follow A-Start Central on our LinkedIn page. And for more updates, also to check out our Augmentus on their LinkedIn as well. They are really active on there. Right? And this wrapping the merch. So please click like and subscribe, and we'll see you in another episode. So A-Start Central, signing off.
Bye. Bye. See you guys.